Hello everyone, this is Deb Vance. We're home from our trip and I want to share with you a bunch of stuff that we didn't know that you may or may not already know. But if you're planning a trip, you may find this really interesting. You may want to come back and watch this segment when you have more time. I'm going to take as long as it needs. I'm going to pause the video and stand it up so I can hold up some paintings that I did. And I want to share our first week in Paris. So, without further ado, I'm moving the camera, so try to bear with me. All right, I'm trying to zoom you in and show you. Our hotel was here. It was the Hotel Regent, and it was right on the Pont Neuf Bridge, if you guys have been to Paris and you know this. Now, something that was explained in a video that we didn't know, and God, we sure wish we would have, because it would have made things make so much more sense. The Louvre is in Arrondissement 1, and then it's clockwise. So 2, 3, 4, or 5 was the Latin Quarter, 6, and then it works its way out. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it just keeps going. So you may or may not see some of these little numbers, but this was never explained to us. So when we arrived at Hotel Regent, we were very tired and we went to the post office to pick up a painting device that I wanted. I ordered it and had it sent to the local post office. That way the postage was in France, not clear back here to the United States, for me to put in a suitcase and then turn around and pack it back to France. It just didn't make any sense. So we picked it up at a post office just right near this hotel. It wasn't hardly a block or so. When we left there, we then walked on what was the oldest street in Paris. And it was a Roman road. I mean, I showed pictures of that in the first group of 58 that I posted somewhere, I believe on Facebook, and I'll share some of those with you as well as slideshows, and you can watch as many of them as you want. I took 1,077 pictures because I don't think I'll ever be in the Louvre to take another picture of the Mona Lisa. So it's just a matter of taking photos of everything so that you have them. Now, we went for lunch and waited because our room was not available to check into until 3 o'clock. Pretty standard procedure, but we went, had something to eat, and then laid down for a couple hours, and then got back up again, and we walked to that Pont Neuf Bridge that I'm talking about. And I did about a 15-minute sketch, and this is the painting that came of it. And it's 3 by 5 inches. I can tell you that it was cool that I was wearing my raincoat, that it was drizzling intermittently but not constant. The sun came out, made beautiful reflections on the water, and it was captured in that painting. But it amazes me how much information gets laser engraved into your brain when you're doing these little tiny sketches. So that was interesting. We then took what was called the Bat Boat hop on, hop off taxi. But we still had to walk from the hotel down here to the river where you picked up the Bat Boat, and it went all the way down the river past the Notre Dame Church, and then came back the other side and went all the way to the Eiffel Tower. And that was on the second day. So at the second day, I did my sketch and painting of the Eiffel Tower, and we walked and walked and walked a bunch and took the boat then back here and walked back to the hotel. The next day, we took the boat once again and went to the Orangerie. And that museum is here. We walked that day in the rain from here all the way jig-jag. We stopped this side of the Orsay at a little cafe, and then we walked down here and all the way back to our hotel room. It was crazy. We walked so many miles. I'm going to show you this and you'll die laughing because we couldn't believe how many miles we walked. It's right here at the edge of my map. Now, it probably is not showing up. So I'm going to turn the camera around, do it this way. So on the 28th, we walked 2.58 miles. And these were all counted on Dean's phone with number of steps. The day we went to the Louvre, we did 2.5 miles inside the Louvre. And this was all the way down here through the end of our trip. So we earned our wine. We earned our meals. We walked our legs off. It was pretty incredible. I'm turning. Okay, so I painted this one. As I was telling you, it's 3 by 5. It's going to be made into a bigger painting eventually, but these put all this information into your brain. I want to show you the one I did today from our hotel room. That was the Hotel Regent here. And I sketched this one. This was one of the views out the hotel window. And you're looking, obviously, down the street, so towards our favorite gelato stand. Boy, we visited it often. During the trip, we also went to the Pont Alexander III. And this one was completed today from the photos I took. Now, the Eiffel Tower was here on the map, and we went there, and this is the sketch that I completed. I do the sketch and then I add the color back either at the hotel room, final details, maybe I even did them here, but little bits of information. This is about 6 by 8. It will be, again, more that is done again larger, but just so much information stored in your mind. I just can't hardly explain or tell you. So I'm looking through my sketchbook and I'm going to see what else was in here. Ah, yes, of course. So in the trip, we also went to the Louvre Museum, so Hotel Regent. We had a very bad experience trying to get to, I believe, the Orsay. We went down on the metro, and I'll be honest with you, we were hit by pickpockets. They physically had Dean's wallet in their hands, and we were very fortunate that when we made a ruckus, that they dropped it. I do not recommend the metro. We took cabs everywhere else we went. But when we went to the Louvre, as stated, we got a cab. And this is one of the paintings that I sketched outside, added color later. This is another angle on the other side of the Louvre, sketched, added color later. We then we walked from our hotel room down here outside the Luxembourg Gardens and had breakfast, so the walk was broken in half. The Luxor Gardens is where the kids push the boats in the pond in front of the castle. This is just too cool. It was a lot of fun to watch. I think the people that rent the boats have a real racket going because the kids can't control if they blow into the middle. They get returned, and they're rented by the timeline, half an hour. So more about the Louvre, the museums. We saw so much. I can't even begin to share with you all of it. But I will, once again, move the selfie stick and endeavor. So the Louvre is 5 levels. We came in entrance 1 here and then upstairs because I wanted to be on this side of the Louvre. There's a lot of the Greek, Greek statues, all the carved marble statues in this area and in this area. As soon as you go in and go upstairs, then we saw the Venus de Milo, which, not the, oh God, we saw the winged Samothrace, and I took many pictures there. She is in one of these stairwells. She is in one of these stairwells on this end. We worked on the first floor. This is where the Mona Lisa is. The painting that is 180 degrees behind her is full wall, and it is the wedding at Cana. We focused on here. We did get to catch a few glimpses of some of the antiquities from Egypt and the Middle East, but it was not a focus. The next day or so, I'm sorry, that light is right behind my head. We then went to the other museum. Here is the d'Orsay. This museum, we focused on the 5th floor because this is where all the Impressionists were. Monet, all these, very important to me. And we caught some of the other exhibits. The great big clock. You have to see the clock face from the inside. I've got a friend of mine, Janet, she did a beautiful painting of that clock face from the inside. The other museum we went to, the 3rd museum, was the Orangerie that has the great big water lily paintings from Monet. So there were 2 of these rooms that had the water lilies on the walls all through here. And then we did go downstairs and they had more paintings to see there. So you're walking and you're walking and you're walking. My hat is off, and I so appreciate all of the art history lessons I did with Kathleen Key. Kathleen, if you're watching, I'm indebted to you forever because I knew a lot of what I was looking at. You overhear conversations. I'm sorry, they tickled me. People didn't know what they were looking at. They were trying to tell a spouse or a friend. And Kathleen shared so much. And it all came back when you're standing in front of the exhibits. So this concludes Paris. And like I said, umpteen pictures. You can see as many as you want. I will post a slideshow of them somehow, eventually. But this concludes Paris. So the next segment will cover where we went next, north to the Normandy coast and a little teeny town called Villerville. More soon.